Right, hello Elizabeth and Thomas. It is June the 7th, 2017. I'm hoping that this camera thing in the car lasts all the way home. So I'm going to switch Dark Side of the Moon off, which was on the radio, and I'm going to get off Mum's drive before that man comes. So I've just left Grandma Rita's house in Capstan Road in Hull, so I'll wait for this car to come. So my mum, your Grandma Rita, has lived here all my life. I think she moved in 1967, I think, something like that, with my dad, John. Obviously I was born in 1972 and I lived all my life in that one house. So as of 2017, you've lived in two houses. You lived in Brough, in the 3-storey house, which I'm sure you remember. We are currently living in Kirkella. Oh dear me, bless me. And hopefully we're still there, whatever year this is. We're just passing the Rising Sun pub on the right. I used to go in the Rising Sun pub all the time when I was a lot younger. And when I first started drinking in the Rising Sun pub, the beer was about 60 pence a pint of bitter and about 80p for a pint of lager. I remember when Foster's, I think it was Foster's lager, went up to 88 pence and it was an absolute nightmare. And then eventually we got to £1 a pint. And for a long time, beer used to be £1 a pint. And then it went up to about £1.20. And there used to be a pub on Bentley High Road, which is in front of us now. And they used to do £1 a night specials. I think it's about £3 or £4 a pint now. On the right hand side is Tesco's, the West supermarket in Hull, or at least it is right now. And I remember years and years ago when I was about 10 or 12, so that is, 32 years ago, somebody once abandoned a car in a field. It was a transit pickup, a Mark 1 transit pickup truck. If you have a look at that, you'll see what it looks like. And they abandoned it, and I remember going and looking at it. So this is Hall Road, so sometimes I used to walk this way to my friend's house. And there used to be lots of blocks of flats on here. I think we've knocked most of them down. I think we've knocked them all down now. These big tower blocks on here, about 13 or 14 floors high. They've all gone. Yeah, so this is Hall Road. Not much to say about this. They're building lots of new houses on here. It'll be interesting to see what these look like in the future. The housing used to be quite dilapidated and derelict on here. They've built all these nice new houses in the hope that it'll look a lot better. I'm not sure it will, but you never know. Pint and Pot pub on the left. I can remember when there used to be smoking in pubs, and now you have to stand outside to smoke. Just interesting. What else to say? Not much else to say really about Hall Road. It used to be the number 5 bus I used to catch on Hall Road, and that was a real revelation when the number 5 arrived, because you used to get the number 7 from Grandma Rita's estate into town, into Hull. And there wasn't many other buses. There used to be the East Yorkshire buses, the red buses, the 121s. When they built Tesco's, they built a number 5 bus that run all the way from Tesco's. It used to go all the way around and roundabouts to town. And the other thing that used to be quite funny is when they built Tesco's, great Grandma Doris, who you might have heard me talk about, Elizabeth. She met Elizabeth, which didn't meet you, Thomas. But great Grandma Doris, she used to be able to get the Tesco bus to Grandma Rita's, which was quite fun, so she used to get that a few times. I think my mum might have even gone back the other way on the Tesco bus. And I think it used to be free, in fact, when it first started, it used to be free. So shortly we're going to be turning off Hall Road. Hall Road is quite interesting because this estate, Orchard Park Estate, was built in the late 60s. And if you ever do a Google search for Orchard Park 1960s plans, it looks really different. And the designers wanted to make it kind of quite villagey. So they put lots of like little back sort of pedestrian streets and all sorts of things in to try and make it a bit like a kind of village rather than a big estate with lots of roads. But your granddad, John, my dad, used to be a policeman, as you know, and he said that while it seemed like quite a good idea to have all these little pedestrian streets, the problem was that he couldn't police it in his police car. The problem was actually that crime on these estates was a real problem. a real shame, really. So Orchard Park never really worked. It never worked as a sort of social experiment. But if you look at the plans, you'll see there's all these sort of little walkways and underpasses and all kinds of nice things. It just never ever worked. It just never worked properly. So this is Orchard Park. The other thing that I was always quite interested about these sort of estates is that years ago, and I've still got a CB, I'm in the Rover. Do you remember the silver Rover that Grandad Peter used to drive that I got? So I'm in Grandad Peter's silver Rover right now. It's done 112,000 miles. And it's got a CB on the back. Do you remember that CB area we used to have on the back that Mum used to hate turning on? Thomas used to like turning it on and saying, Roger. Well, on these estates, there used to be lots and lots and lots of CB people. And you could drive around these estates and always get lots and lots of people talking to you on the CBs. Right, so we'll turn up here. And we're going to head up into Cottingham now. So Cottingham was always quite a nice place. The other thing that we know in Cottingham right now is that it's where Julie and James and Bethany and Joseph live. So whatever year this is, I wonder if he's still friends with Bethany and Joseph. And Bethany, Mummy and Daddy met Julie and James when Mummy was pregnant with Elizabeth, and Bethany's mummy Julie was pregnant obviously with Bethany. And we've stayed in touch ever since. Hopefully, God willing, we all still know each other. And we got on with Julie and James because they were Christians like we are. And I'm sure you remember that when Bethany and Joseph and their mummy and daddy used to come to our church as well. So shortly we'll be coming off this back road and going up through Cottingham. So it's Wednesday today, and I'm in the last half term of my job at Longcroft School. It is now, what time is it now? It's about 5 to 8, so it's quite nice and light still, which is quite good. So, we're on New Village Road, heading up into Cottingham. We have to go across the railway line. So the trains, it would be nice to think in the future still run from Hull up to Beverley and to Scarborough. And that's the line we're going to go over in a minute. We're going to go over the Beverley and Scarborough line. I'm not really sure what else to say about going through Cottingham. I don't really know many of the people in Cottingham, really. I know a man called Tim, who was the man that gave me the carpet for the shed where I put all the Lego trains. I wonder where they are now. Might still be in the shed, depending when you listen to this. So yeah, we used to have that shed in the back garden in Kirkella. We still do as I'm speaking now, and I put all the Lego trains in there, which was quite fun. And anyway, I got a carpet from a man called Tim, who was one of the finance people for IT and Spectrum that had that big new office down near the Humber Bridge that we used to watch being built. So that was pretty exciting. I'm going to go past a petrol station in a minute. We'll see how much petrol is. To be honest, I can't really remember petrol being a great deal cheaper. I know people will tell you when petrol was really cheap. I never really kept an eye on petrol. I've always just put the same amount of money in the car. I don't know. It's £1.22.9p a litre of diesel and £1.20.9p for a litre of petrol. We still don't really have much of an alternative from petrol and diesel. They're trying to get rid of diesel cars, but we'll see how that goes. This is a diesel car, the Rover 75. We've got the Black Scenic, that's a diesel thing as well. What else? Contactless pay is quite a new thing, that's been in a few years. So up to £30 you can just hold your credit card over the machine. Still have PIN numbers. I don't think you can sign for it. You used to be able to sign your name. You used to even checks and things, but they're probably there mostly gone nowadays in 2017. Yeah, so that's that. So down to the left here is where Julie and James and Bethany and Joseph live. That way. We'll go this way and see what we can see. So you can see that Tesco home delivery lorry ahead of you. We're going to turn up there. Follow this white car. Home delivery was quite a new thing a few years ago. We didn't used to have food deliveries. You used to have to go and buy it all. Of course, the internet came along. I can remember the internet coming along. I remember not having the internet. I can remember Facebook starting in about 2003. So we're just passing Bethany and Joseph's house there. I can remember the first supermarket opening in Hull. It was a shop called Presto. It was on Headon Road, a long way away. And then Tesco's arrived, and Tesco's was the first sort of real cheap store. And they didn't used to put things out on shelves. So if you wanted to buy beans and things, you just had a big cardboard box, that all the beans came in. And you used to have to go and get them out of the boxes yourselves. And I remember that opening. I can remember my mum and dad talking about a supermarket called Clifford Dunn's, which is in the centre of Hull. And Clifford Dunn had a bit like a supermarket, not nearly as big, but the way that his sort of unique thing is that he used to buy tins where all the labels had fallen off. So he used to go to a supermarket and basically buy boxes and boxes of tins that you kind of guessed would be beans or meat or something like that, but it might be cat food. I'm sure he sold other things, but apparently, yeah, that's what Clifford Dunn's used to sell in town. So we're heading up through Cottingham now. This was always a really nice posh place when I was growing up. Some nice houses here. We'll shortly go past Castle Hill Hospital, which is a big hospital where I've had things done, and Mum's been into Castle Hill and bits and pieces done. Go up this way. Try not to hit these people that are crossing the road. But yeah, it's quite nice around here. They're building some new houses just opposite Castle Hill here. It used to be a garden centre, and then the man in the garden centre seemed to create a big car park for parking people going to the hospital, and then shortly afterwards they started building houses, which I think is a bit dodgy, but anyway, there we go. So I've just got to wait a minute while we get all these cars coming out. It's still quite quiet running the traffic in Hull. I don't know what it's like nowadays. We don't have any congestion charges. We don't really have many speed cameras in Hull. About 3 or 4 probably in the town, and then a few on Beverley Bypass. It's about, I think it's £60 and 3 points now on licence in 2017. You get 12 points in driving licence and bam, and there's the new houses. So these new houses are probably about £300,000 each for a 4-bedroom house. We paid £325,000 for our house in Kirkella. My mum paid £3,150 for her house when she bought it. Yeah. £62,000 was the first amount I paid for a house. That was for a semi-detached 3-bedroom house, and I paid £315,000 for the house in Brough. 325,000 for the one in Keller. Okay, so we're coming up to the roundabout on the bypass down to where we're going to come off. And I can remember building this road. I can remember before there was any road here, and then both me and your mum will remember when they made this road into a dual carriageway. It used to be single road for a long time. Very recent, last few years, they put this in as a dual carriageway, which is quite cool. And I come cycling all around here, which is quite exciting. There's a gym ahead of us. There's been lots of people into gyms, probably about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Not so much, well, possibly, I don't know. They never seem to be quite as much as they used to be. But maybe, yeah, 20 years ago, everybody used to be joining the gym. Mind you, I was 20 years younger, I suppose. So I used to come I still do come cycling all around here on my bike, which is quite exciting. We'll go around this roundabout. And then the next roundabout here, when it used to be a single track road, past the garage that you're going to see on the left hand side, there's another roundabout which we'll turn left at. And this roundabout, my dad, when he was in police, somebody crashed into his police car here. He was going to a 999 call. Somebody rang 999 and said there was an emergency. And him and his speeding along, had the blue lights going to bits and pieces. and somebody drove into the side, just didn't see my dad coming across the roundabout. It wasn't my dad's fault, and drove into the side of his car. Anyway, when they finally got to the 999 call, I think they carried on. When they finally got there, it was a young girl who had fallen off her bike, I think, push bike, and had broken a leg. So actually it wasn't a police matter anyway, it was an ambulance, but people panicked. So that's this roundabout here. He always told that story. It used to be single, just one lane then, in them days. So we'll turn left here. We're going to go past McDonald's, which has just reopened, much to everybody's excitement after a refit. And we've just got back from our holiday in France, our first holiday in France, and we went in the Rover, where we spent a long time going to McDonald's. I think we went to McDonald's 3 times. So there's Waitrose here, there's McDonald's here. Building some new houses on this hill, which is quite exciting. And this is really bad for traffic, this bit of road here. Really bad in the morning. It's a right nightmare. There's an Aldi over there. I think it's Aldi and Lidl at the other side. I think it's either Aldi or Lidl. I can never remember which one. But Dave, remember Dave, our neighbour in Brough with Amy and Sam and their mum Karen. So he works for one of them. Well, he certainly does right now. So we're heading up into Willoughby Square, where there is a Sainsbury's, and where the church hall is. We used to go to the church hall. We'll just go to the church hall in a minute. Kirkella St Andrew's Church, that's where the hall is. And what Grandad looks after. So Grandad Peter is currently on the management committee for the hall, and he helps with all the decisions there. And there's lots of estate agents around here, and a bank, and a chemist, and a post office, and that sort of thing. But Sainsbury's is the main thing we use. It used to be a railway line. It's where the station used to be, where the car park is next to Sainsbury's. In fact, the railway line used to follow this road, which is good now. Which is quite exciting. So we'll just let all these cars go past. It seems to be lots of cars that want to suddenly go past this roundabout. It's quite exciting. I'll get across while that car waits. So yeah, so there's all the estate agents and bits and pieces. So we're nearly home, nearly into Kirkella. And yeah, it's nice, it's not too busy around here. Police station on the right. There's the car park and the station. Church hall is just on the right there. There's lots going on Wednesday night. I think he might be slimming well. Mummy is slimming well. So Grandma and Grandad Mishwick are just at this roundabout a bit to the left. We're going to turn right. And we will go up Church Lane, which is lovely and green this time of year. So we're heading up Church Lane. 2017 we've got Norman and June that live next door to us. Chris and Harry are just in that house we've just passed. And we will turn into our drive. So we will turn up into here. There we are, Mum's parked there, look. So we'll park the car. I will take this memory car now. If I can get the car through this gap, I'll take this memory car now. And I am hopefully going to go and upload this video to YouTube tonight. So I will do another one of these for you at some point in the future. I love you lots, and this is your dad, and it is now, it's 8 o'clock, and I'll do another one soon.